What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe as I drop content daily, go live daily. We stay very busy on this platform. And last but not least, man, my favorite part of the game, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this work. Shout out to Cris Carter, man. Shout out to Cris Carter. My last one of my videos, I made like 2 or 3 videos highlighting uh, not just Skip Bayless not leaving Fox Sports 1 as last Friday now, as the recorded of this video about a week ago. Skip Bayless, he had his last show on Undisputed, Fox Sports 1 Undisputed. And it was a little, we all kind of seen it coming as it was announced earlier, but it wasn't a date, on it just yet. But he kind of announced the morning of, that it would be his last show. And from that point on, Skip has departed. Fox Sports 1 has tried to replace him. They've announced a number of, potential ideas that may be in play. But all in all, Skip Bayless is gone. And the sports world feels like it's a little better. You know what I mean? And I've actually had somebody on one of those videos, I can't recall which one, but one of those videos, somebody was actually defending Skip Bayless. And I tried to explain to that individual that this wasn't a one-off situation. A lot of people know about the Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless back and forth that went viral last year. This was, to me, from my opinion, this was a long time coming because Skip Bayless had a long, very, trying to remember the word I was trying to use. Sorry, y'all. He had a long history of disrespecting athletes and sports figures, not just athletes. He disrespected coaches. Him and Mark Cuban had a back and forth. I just reading that one as well. So not just sports players, sports coaches, but sports organization owners. Skip Bayless has gone back and forth with a number of individuals, and not just going back and forth, but gotten highly disrespectful. And Cris Carter highlighted a particular moment where Skip Bayless got disrespectful with him. Now, I was not aware of this. I'm aware of a number of Skip Bayless spats, but there's so many that you tend to forget. I brought up the Chris Bosh situation, Russell Westbrook situation. What else? Eric Mangini. That's a former NFL coach that had some words about Tim Tebow. And if y'all don't remember, Skip Bayless used to be a huge Tim Tebow guy. Like damn near as much as he is a Tom Brady guy, he used to be that much infatuated with Tim Tebow, as he believed that Tim Tebow was going to be the next great quarterback back, when he was drafted from the Florida Gators. Nobody else seen that or said that, but Skip Bayless was alone on that hill, and he was willing to take as many arrows as possible to to defend that hill. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. But, and there's been a number of other situations. Jalen Rose, him and Jalen Rose have had a back and forth because of Skip Bayless's disrespect. But I was not aware that Cris Carter and Skip Bayless had a back and forth. As Cris Carter, he was on a recent interview, and the interviewer asked him about Skip Bayless's, departure, as Cris Carter himself was a former analyst on Fox Sports 1. And what he said, bro, I did not see it coming. I did not see this coming. I thought he was going to say something, a little PC, just give Skip his flowers and move on to the next, next question. No, Cris Carter went into utter details on how he himself was disrespected by Skip Bayless, and he had to check Skip Bayless. He said he would punch Skip Bayless in the face, and I respect it, because if Skip Bayless disrespected me with the kind of history he has, I probably would have said the same thing if I didn't actually hit him in his face for doing that, because lo and behold, I just recalled this on the spot. He disrespected Troy Aikman. Go look at the Skip Bayless and Troy Aikman beef. Troy Aikman can't stand this dude to this day. The legendary Dallas Cowboys quarterback. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't know this. This is the reason why Skip Bayless can't step into Dallas to this day. Because I've made a recent video talking about Skip Bayless should just do Dallas Cowboys news. It seems like the Dallas Cowboys fan base still have some respect for Skip Bayless for whatever reason. But he can't. At least not while Troy Aikman's still alive, because the beef was super real. And the things he said about Troy Aikman, man, was disgusting, disrespectful, uncalled for. And it was unwarranted because he had no evidence, even out of his own mouth, he had no evidence to substantiate his crazy, disrespectful claims. But he disrespected Cris Carter. Him and Cris Carter had an exchange about Tim Tebow, and Cris Carter said something on the lines of, if throwing the football is important in the NFL, Tim Tebow will not make it, because we all knew that, Tim Tebow was a great motivational guy. He was a good, Russian quarterback, but he wasn't that great of a thrower. And a lot of that was covered up in his collegiate career. One, because, college athletes, you have a few special ones like Tim Tebow was every so often, but the Florida Gators used to keep a loaded roster, and even while Tim Tebow was there, they had a legendary quarterback there. I think the gentleman's name was Chris Leak. He was phenomenal before Tim Tebow picked up. And at one point, they had Tim Tebow and Cam Newton on their roster. The same Cam Newton that left the Florida Gators and went and won a national championship with the Auburn Tigers. Yeah, that Cam Newton was on the same roster with Tim Tebow at one point. So just to give you an idea of how much talent they had 3 franchise quarterbacks on one collegiate roster. So, but nonetheless, it was easy to hide a lot of Tim Tebow's flaws that way. But, real football players, real football legends and coaches and everybody, analysts, they were saying that, yes, Tim Tebow is a great positive energy for the locker room. But on the football field, there were many concerns. And we've seen how Tim Tebow's career played out. Those concerns were very valid. But Cris Carter said what he said about Tim Tebow. And do you know this dude Skip Bayless came out of his mouth, right, and told Cris Carter that his take on Tim Tebow was the reason why he never won a Super Bowl. And I don't know what that had to do with the actual take, right? Because Cris Carter, without a Super Bowl, was one of the greatest wide receivers to ever enter the NFL. And I don't think anybody will argue with that on that. And even with that, his level of knowledge of the game and his expertise is unquestioned. If he says something, then you have to at least give it some validity. And Skip Bayless ain't played a damn second in the NFL. So who, you know what I mean? Who are you? Just because you some over infatuated fanboy doesn't give you any validity to disrespect these legends, these guys that's actually been out there and gave up blood, sweat, and tears to set their legacies. But Cris Carter said that situation happened on air. And as soon as they went on commercial break, Cris Carter got up from the desk, went over to Skip Bayless, took his mic off, told the producers and them, I'm done. Mid-show, he said, I'm out of here. And he told Skip Bayless, if you ever disrespect me like that again, I'll punch you in your face. Gangster. Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate that to a degree. You know what I mean? There's got to be some decorum, professionalism as well. But the level of the disrespect that Skip Bayless goes to, Skip Bayless always personalizes his disrespect. Even when he was going at Russell Westbrook, the most recent of some of his disrespectful banter, he was disrespecting the man's name. He would hardly, he would start calling him West Brick. And he only disrespected Russ while he was on the Lakers. I don't remember nothing, none of that crazy coverage that him and Shannon Sharp was doing on Russell Westbrook before Russ went to the Lakers and or after. Russ ain't really a focal point as much as he was previously in his career. So it's not much to criticize. You can't really blame him. But I ain't really heard Skip say nothing about Russ since, and it's kind of crazy. But at the same time, Cris Carter wasn't having it, and I'll be frank. You know what I mean? Like I said, I probably would have did and said the same thing. And I haven't heard Skip Bayless say a word about Cris Carter ever since. Now that he revealed that in his interview, I don't recall Skip Bayless saying anything else about Cris Carter since that moment on ESPN. I recall, Cris Carter used to go on the show as him and Stephen A. Smith were friends, and Stephen A. he has a lot of connections. He annoys the heck out of me, but the man knows how to network, and he has a lot of strings. I mean, not strings. Excuse me. He has a lot of relationships in the industry, the sports industry. So you know, Cris Carter even had to tell him, like, I ain't never coming back on this show as long as Skip Bayless is here. And that's why I wanted to say, man, this is just another, how can I say this? This is another story that justifies why Skip Bayless no longer belongs in this game. Skip has always said and done things for shock value, whether he was intending to do it or not. It's just the lack of awareness. You know what I mean? That's what really pained me about Skip. How can you have such lack of awareness of what these gentlemen have to, sacrifice, even time with the family, something that most people don't understand when it comes to athletes. You don't get to raise your kids and be with your wife every day. You got to go out there and put it all on the field or the court or the ice rink, whatever you do. Athletes sacrifice a lot. And winning ain't guaranteed to nobody. There's only one team that gets to win, so you got to respect the hard work at least that goes into the game. Skip didn't acknowledge none of that. And every time he disrespected a athlete, I always found it very distasteful. Even when he used to disrespect LeBron, you know what I mean? Back when I was a LeBron James fan, when I started coming out of that delusion, and I noticed that Skip Bayless always levied an attack against LeBron. Some of his stuff wasn't even warranted, and I'm saying that as a proud LeBron James hater. You know what I mean? I can honestly attest that some of the stuff that Skip Bayless used to say about LeBron was just kind of uncalled for, because every day, this man has something to say about LeBron James, had a take about LeBron James. Even nowadays, he still does it, and it's just like, we understand, bro. You understand. You got to make your money and woo. But at the same time, for that individual that was in the comment section defending Skip, I hope you are on this. You come to this video, and I do forgive me, I can't recall your name. We had a nice conversation. It wasn't disrespectful or anything. I'll acknowledge that. I definitely, I wanted to pin his comment because we had a good dialogue about Skip Bayless and why, he ain't on the waves no more. A lot of people aren't aware that Skip Bayless has this long history of being, again, very disrespectful to hardworking athletes. And like I say, man, you can have your feelings about it or whatever. You could be a Skip Bayless fan and all that, but you got to acknowledge that at some point you can't. You can have your criticisms about these athletes. I don't think Russell Westbrook is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. I have my own criticisms of a Russell Westbrook, but to be disrespecting the man's name, his family, that's where you got to start drawing the line. And Skip Bayless did the same thing to Chris Bosh. Used to call him Chris Bosh Spice, and Chris Bosh on air told the man to please stop disrespecting me. You disrespecting my family name. And Skip Bayless looked in Chris Bosh's face and called him Chris Bosh Spice again. And that's when I would have hit him. That's the moment I would have, when I come to you respectfully and tell you to quit, disrespecting my people, man. Hey, listen, at that point, I got to stand on something, and if you're willing to die on that disrespectful hill, I'm willing to die on my stand on business hill. So that's why I say I'm happy that Skip Bayless is out of here, because it wasn't like he was providing the sports world with any substance, even when Skip was quote unquote cooking. Nobody reacts to Skip's takes no more. Nobody referenced Skip. I can't recall the last time I seen somebody say, make a point and they take and be like, oh yeah, I remember Skip Bayless, saying that inspired this take. I never heard that. I don't hear nobody doing sound bites from Skip. None of that. It's over. The man is in his 70s. It's time to get up out of here. Lord willing, I live that long. Eventually, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna be on these microphones pushing out these videos no more, because it comes to a time. Every good thing, it comes to an end. So, Skip had his run. He did what he did for the game. I will say this, to give Skip some credit, some flowers. He did enhance the sports debate world. Him and Stephen A. Smith back around 2009, 2010, 2000, that golden era of ESPN First Take. I got to give him his flowers. How Stephen A. and him set up the sports debate world. A lot of that inspired a lot of what you see now on YouTube streams and all that kind of stuff, where two individuals can embrace debate. But the thing about Skip is that in the name of debate, he would get disrespectful, and that's just uncalled for. A number of times I've seen Skip give a take, and then everybody else on the panel was just like, got their head bowed down, because it's just like, come on, Skip. You know what I mean? I know we sitting here debating. I know we sitting here doing, we may say a little something, for views and all that stuff, and we got our agreement behind the scenes. But at what point, you got to draw a line. You have to draw a line. And so, again, I'm happy Skip is out of here. It was well deserved, and thanks to Cris Carter for providing that story, because again, it's just another notch, in Skip's belt. Just another person that he disrespected. And I'm glad Cris Carter responded the way he did, because somebody that's what you do to a bully. You know what I mean? Once you stand up to a bully, they chill out all of a sudden. I feel like that's part of what Skip was on, some of that bully time. Because he felt like he had this sway in the game, because he was one of the top dogs in sports analyzation. You know what I mean? Give him his credit. Sports journalism, excuse me. He was one of the top dogs at one point in time, but the fall off, you know what I mean? The fall off was harder than the rise, because outside of that one individual, maybe two people I know that are still legitimate Skip Bayless supporters, I don't know or hear anybody checking for Skip no more, and I ain't gonna hold y'all. I unfollowed Skip on Twitter at one point, but I'll be frank, man. I don't hate Skip. I don't really have a disdain for him. I do still find some substance from his takes, as you know. Me personally, just as a sports journalist, I check in with everybody. I unfollowed him, but I went back and followed him, man, because even your enemies, man, you know what I mean. You want to keep an eye on them, check on them, and make sure they ain't doing nothing slick. And I want to see, because Skip Bayless said that he had some other things planned, as far as life after Undisputed. I want to see what's going to happen, because his YouTube is trash. ESPN already done closed the door on working with him again. Stephen A. Smith closed the door on working with him again. So I'm interested to see what can Skip cook up. What's going to be his next move at 73, 74 years old. You know what I mean? I think it's just going to be more failure, at this point. Ever since Shannon Sharp left Undisputed, that show has flatlined. He's tried to do everything, like bring Rachel Nichols, Paul Pierce, Richard Sherman, Keyshawn John, all of these heavy hitters, former ESPN analysts. He's tried to bring them over, and ain't nothing working for him. So that's all I got for y'all on this one. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to caveat, please hit the like button right now, if you don't mind. I'm working on getting the likes up, getting the videos a little bit more into the algae, you know what I mean? So we really been working. So if y'all don't mind, please right now pause the video, take a minute, and like the video, as well as share the video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. I thank y'all for the love and support. Also, leave your thoughts and comments in the thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to what y'all got to say about these topics. I can't thank everybody out there for the love and support. Again, I'm gonna find that gentleman that I had that dialogue with, and I'm gonna post a comment or something. I'm gonna do something with you, brother, because I can't really, I tell y'all all the time, it's just not something I say. I really do enjoy people that have opposite opinions of me and can clearly debate or make their points without being disrespectful and trolling. The sports world got enough trolls in it, don't it? So I really appreciate people that leave their honest thoughts in the comment section so that we can have some dialogue. So thank y'all. I definitely appreciate the love and support. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.